Hi guys, welcome to the Little Miss Tony Cooking Show from Tony's Little Bambinos in Merrill. And today we're going to be cooking scalloped potatoes and ham. This is a pretty easy recipe, so it's really good to know. You can always add additions to it, whatever you'd like. But today's first ingredients we're going to be using is potatoes. This is 6 sliced, peeled potatoes. And we have salt, pepper, parsley. Them are your only spices. Onion, milk, spray for your pan, flour and butter, and of course, the piece de resistance, ham on the bone. And I'm going to be using an 8x10 bakeware, stone bakeware. I really love to cook in it. So we already have our potatoes peeled. We're just going to chop our onion up. So make sure, guys, that you wash your veggies. So wash your onion up. So I don't really want to dice my onion. I want to slice it. I love the big, nice pieces of onion flavor in this. So just cut her in half and slice her away. Doesn't have to be really thick pieces. So this will serve probably 5 to 6 people. All right, so our onions are sliced and thrown all over the place. And now we're going to dice our ham up. I cut it in half first. These are 2 nice slices of ham, not quite an inch thick. You can cut off some of the fat. So we're just going to dice this. Get off a little bit of the fat here. I love the fat if you're like pan frying the ham, or you're putting a glaze on it and putting it on the grill, which is coming up pretty soon. Pretty soon here in Michigan we'll be on our nice weather, hopefully. So let's just cut out the fatty part. This gives it great flavor though, a little bit of the fat, but I mean, the ham on the bone is what I prefer. Otherwise you can just use, even if you want to even cut time even smaller, go buy yourself a little spiral ham, and then all you really have to do is dice her up. It'll still be fast. Or you can buy diced ham in some of the stores now. So this is a quick, easy meal for the family. Little loaf of Italian bread. And maybe a nice little salad, and you'll have a great meal. I'm gonna keep the bone and put it inside the scalloped potatoes, and I'll pull it out when we're cooking. When I was a kid working at the restaurant, my uncle Tony used to make scalloped potatoes and ham all the time, and he's the one who taught me how to make this recipe. I really haven't changed it much because I really, really enjoy it this way. I love the flavor of it this way. A lot of people use mushroom soup, celery soup, they mix it up. But to me, this is just the old-fashioned, good old flavor of the meat and the potatoes. And of course, it really doesn't have like that canned flavor to it. Next week when we do the show, I'm gonna make some pork chops and celery soup. So I will teach you next week how to make some soup, some celery soup, which is the standard, pretty much standard recipe for any kind of cream soup, white cream soup, chicken-based soup. And then from there, guys, you can learn how to make all kinds of sauces. You can make all the stuff that you need to make without ever opening a can of anything up. So this is pretty much what we've done. We've diced our ham up. This is a great amount of ham, but you want to make it as your main course meat. We have onion, we have the potatoes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray this pan right here, and then we'll just set her aside. I love the stoneware. As you notice, mine's a little bit weathered, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And we'll get our flour. And what I'm gonna do is actually make a roux. So, and then we're gonna take and add the milk to it. Let me grab a clean knife, and we're gonna add our butter. Let's add 1 stick. The reason why I have 2 sticks of butter out here is during the cooking process, it takes 350, about 1.5 hours to cook. I cover it for the first hour, uncover it for the last half hour. I like the little bit of the crispiness. But if I see it's gonna get a little bit dry, because you never know what kind of moisture a potato has, what kind of potato you're using. These are russets, but you can use all different kinds of potatoes. Redskins if you don't wanna peel them. There's really thin yellow ones that if you just scrub the skin really good, you'll never even notice. You won't have to take the skins off them. So what we're doing is we're melting the butter, and you're going to use equal amounts of butter and equal amounts of flour. So what you're gonna do is I'm gonna grab the flour here. And this is a 1/2 stick of butter, which is a 1/2 cup. So what you want to use, if you're measuring, is you want to use a 1/2 cup of flour. So that's really all there is to this. Like I said, this is very, very simple. The hardest part of it is putting it in the oven. I even think that if you do it this way, where you're actually, instead of incorporating layers of the potatoes with everything, if you do it like this, you can use your crock pot. And you could put it in your crock pot, and you can cook it for maybe 3 hours on low speed in your crock pot. And you'll have scalloped potatoes and ham to come home to when you come home for dinner. So all we're doing is melting our butter. And we're gonna put a 1/2 cup of the flour in. I'm also salt and pepper our butter right now. So I'm heavy peppering it. I like the little twinge of pepper taste that it's going to give us. And this is sea salt, so not as much sea salt as you're using if you were using regular salt. This is unsalted butter. So now that we've got our butter almost all melted here, now we're going to add our 1/2 cup of flour. And we're gonna get flour all over. So this is what you get when you have live television. You actually get my mistakes that I make. All right, so what you wanted is it's lumpy. All right, we're gonna let that cook out for about 1 minute. We've already salt and peppered it. So now we're gonna add our milk. A little bit at a time. You know, you can kick these recipes up a notch. If I had my choice, I would use basil and everything, because I'm a basil girl. But you can put a little bit of thyme in it. You can add chicken to it instead of ham. And thyme and chicken go really good together. And you can have chicken scalloped potatoes. You can do anything with potatoes. Potatoes, this has regular flour in it, all-purpose flour, but a lot of people can't have flour, but they can have potatoes because of their gluten allergies. So you can try using a gluten-free flour. And you can also use almond milk instead of regular milk and make this healthy for you. And like I said, put chicken in it, put, you know, turkey slices in it, put something different in it. All right, so that's probably about 1.5 cups of milk right now. So you're gonna let this cook for a few more minutes. Don't worry about it getting super thick. What you're doing is instead of layering the potatoes where the very old-fashioned way is take a layer of potatoes, a couple little cubes of butter, onion, flour, and then add a little milk, then do another layer. This way, we're cutting all them little layers out of there. We're gonna add our onion. Give it a nice little stir. Then we're gonna shut her off. We're gonna add our potatoes. Then we're gonna give these a nice little stir and get them all incorporated with the sauce. Oh yeah. It mixes your onions up, it mixes your butter up, it mixes everything up inside of there so nothing's overly floury. If that is a word. Okay. And then we're gonna take and we're gonna add our ham in here. So this is a little more difficult part because all we're doing is adding a big amount of ham in. So we're just gonna stir a little bit in at a time. And like I said, I love the ham on the bone. You can use like sandwich ham if you'd like to, if you don't have ham on the bone, but this actually gives it like a very little smokier taste, a little more body. The little thicker the ham, a little more body. All right, let's stick a little more in there. All right, the rest will kind of mix in as we're putting it in the pan. Okay, so now we have our pan almost full and everything is all mixed. So you don't have to stir it during your process. Like I said, then if you do it the old-fashioned way, you kind of have to give it a couple stirs. So this is what I like to do on the top. It's a little bit time-consuming, but it gives your potatoes a little more fancier look. I'll just kind of stack them in there. So you can, when you go to cut this, you can cut it, it'll look just like a little piece of pie or cake. This is my favorite dish my uncle has taught me how to make, besides a roast. So all we're doing is stacking the potatoes, like putting them in a little design element so they look nice. Just kind of coat them a little bit more. And then we're going to cover this with some aluminum foil, and voila. I mean, we've taken in 5 minutes. I may have had the potatoes peeled already, but I mean, it's no big deal. Like I said, you can use potatoes you don't have to peel. You don't always have to follow the rules anymore. I find that just cooking and tasting as you cook is the key to all the good foods. You like things hot, you like things not hot. All right. Got a couple more potatoes. I'm gonna finish this up. We're gonna cover with some aluminum foil. And then after that, we're gonna shove her in the oven. We're gonna grab some of these potatoes, flip them over, pull them out of there. You hardly even know that there's any ham in it. All right, and we got a couple more here. A little bit of onion. Like I said, I like to leave the onion nice and long sliced.
One in the pan.
All right. Let me wipe this. Oh, grab this. Wipe this off. Beautiful. Wrap her, cover her with a piece of nonstick Reynolds wrap or aluminum foil, whatever you want to call it. And let's throw her in the oven 1 hour and take off the top and let her bake for another ½ hour. And then at the very end, all we're gonna do is sprinkle her with a little parsley, fresh parsley, and that's all there is to it. You've now learned how to make fast, easy scalloped potatoes, and you'll have dinner on the table in no time. And we'll be back when it's time to pull her out. Hi guys. Well, it's been an hour and a half. After 1 hour, we took the lid of aluminum foil off and we let her cook for another ½ hour to brown up a little bit on the top. I've scooped some out for Mr. Fritzler and I. And I didn't have to add any more milk or any more butter or anything. She was just perfect. And give her a little taste when Mr. Fritzler comes over here. So we'll get everything ready. Here he comes. Hi.
Hey, baby.
How are you?
Good. Smells good.
Yes.
Smells
Okay,
way over
so we're
there.
having scalloped patata and ham, and that's potato in Italian. Very good. Very good, huh?
Good on a nice cold day.
Oh yeah. Michigan's not getting its summer anytime soon. Well,
Great.
good. I'm glad you like it.
Must.
Me too. This is simple, easy to make, doesn't take a lot of time. So again, this is Denise and Steve from the Little Miss Tony's Cooking Show from Tony's Little Bambinos in Merrill, Michigan. Wishing you a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bon appetit.
Ciao.